Before I delve further into the Eclipse, I just saw the trailer for Moana live action. Now, it looks great. It looks exactly like the movie, the original Moana movie. I don't know why they think that live action makes it a legitimate film and animation doesn't, because they are literally like scene for scene, word for word, doing the exact same thing. And then Lilo and Stitch did it differently and everyone complained about that. Yeah, because it was dog shit. It's dog shit. You can't just stop remaking things, make something new. If you don't think that making animation is a legitimate way of protruding your way of storytelling, shit, make a bunch of live action things. But don't remake them from the original cartoons. You're delegitimizing the animations, in which the animations are the perfectly legitimate form of art. And it has done it well. In fact, arguably, it gives it a lot more realism as animation, because when you see it as people, it's just awkward. It doesn't have the same weird quirkiness and smoothness and animation faces as it does. Like, if somebody were to make Encanto like live action, it doesn't have the same charm. I don't know how we're still having this discussion, and I don't know how many live actions they're gonna do. Next they're gonna do Tangled. Why? The whole thing is that we've already had like a million Rapunzel movies. You did Tangled. Tangled was a huge success. Why are you making it into a live action? Because you think it's gonna legitimize this because of the animation isn't legitimate enough? Do you think that it is animation, that it's not a legitimate film because it's animation? Oh, to be a real film, it has to be live action with real people. It's done by real people, and it's an amazing work of art. Anyways, yeah, the trailer was fine. It literally just looks like the exact same movie. Didn't know they were doing a live action Moana. I saw, shit, it was like 2 years ago or something? Or a year ago? I don't fucking know. Like a screenshot or something of The Rock as Maui. And I was like, no fucking way they're gonna do this. And then I thought they were gonna cancel it because of how badly Snow White did or something. I don't fucking know. But nope, just saw the trailer and I'm pretty... yeah. I just don't see a point in redoing such like amazing movies, delegitimizing the animation, feeding to the kids that, oh, you should watch the live action one because it's more legit than the cartoon. Cartoon is for babies. You should watch the live action one because that's what cool people watch. They've taken away Lilo and Stitch. Kids these days didn't watch the original Lilo and Stitch. They see the live action one, they think that's that. They've taken away Snow White. Honestly, I don't give a shit about Snow White. There's so many Snow White movies. I don't really give a fuck. They took away The Lion King. I know lots of kids didn't watch the original Lion King, and they watched the live action. They're like, yeah, okay. Fuck, they're taking away everything. God. Oh. Thanks. Okay. No, I'm talking about Moana. They made a Moana movie. They made a Moana live-action movie. And, yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's literally the exact same thing. Yeah. Also, hello! Sorry, I was just ranting about it because I saw it just now and I was pretty, like, why are you making something that's already been done very successfully at that? And yeah. Just make something new, I beg of you. I've already watched I've already watched it. It was great. What purpose do I have to go and seek to watch it again, but in a different, like, visual stance? When I'm just gonna be watching it again? When I'd rather just watch the original one again. Just make something new, something that I actually want to go watch. Anyways. Fucking hate it here. I know me and my hot girlfriend were Oh no, we figured out the cafe barista lady is actually a bad guy. I've seen Moana so many times, I love it, I don't need a live action. Moana is an amazing fucking movie. I love Moana. The music, the story, everything, the visuals. It's perfect movie. It's a perfect movie. The second one was pretty dog shit, but it's a perfect movie. Why are you making a live action? You've literally already done it. The Rock is already Maui. He doesn't need to actually be Maui. Ah! I think it was confirmed that Sabrina Carpenter will not be Rapunzel, so cancel the whole thing. Fuck, I'm not watching if Sabrina Carpenter isn't. Oh, also, I saw some screen caps of the new Legend of Zelda movies. Or whatever, movies, there's only one. It looks cool, I guess. After that whole Hunter Schafer discourse about them being, or why did I say them? About her being, about her being Zelda. The current Zelda doesn't look as Zelda as I would like, but who fucking cares? Live action, everything I'm usually not very, it doesn't capture me as well. The whole point for me when it comes to animation is that that is that world, and it feels real to me, and bringing it into the real world, it actually makes it feel less real to me. You know what I mean? It was real to me in the animation. It felt real because that was their world. But then you bring it into our world, being like real people, and it just doesn't feel real anymore. There was the How to Train Your Dragon remake. I didn't watch that because I don't give a fuck. I love How to Train Your Dragon. I just don't see a reason why I need to watch the same film again, but done different, like done visually differently. Hunter Schafer was perfect for that role. I cannot take her face out of my head when I think live action Zelda, because her face is like literally the most perfectly proportionate elf face I've ever fucking seen in my life. So it kind of sucks. Anyways, we're playing a game. Someone was calling Jesus' name. Who's Jesus? I am Jesus. Me, Jesus. Ugh, so noisy. My head's pounding. Are you sure it's your head pounding and not you getting pounded? Sorry. Even though she'd only had a few sips at the tavern, Jesus' head throbbed as if from a hangover, waving a hand irritably. Wake up. That voice. I've heard it somewhere before. Oh. Someone has beef with me. Goddamn. I just came. That's what she said. I really should not have grapes. Sorry. Let me eat this one and... I'm trying to block the mic. Don't eat when you have visual novel games. That's pretty cringe. You can snack when you're playing like Silk Song or something. The voice fell silent for a moment. Then as something cold pressed against Jesus' head. At the icy touch, Jesus' eyes fluttered open. Before anything.
Balls.
Yeah, you know, just to get the mood in, you know. At the icy touch, Jesus' eyes fluttered open. Get up now, or I'll shoot. Huh? Max? Thinking she must be hallucinating, Jesus rubbed her eyes vigorously, but then clearly seeing the jet black muzzle of a Glock pointed directly at her. Jesus leaped out of bed as though propelled by a gunshot. So Max sat on a chair placed on the creaky wooden floor, which groaned with every small movement, while Jesus knelt in front of her. Wait, what? I read that, but I completely locked out what I read. The scene looked like a judge delivering a verdict to a condemned criminal. Adora stood behind Max, yawning lazily with a bored expression, while Dale sat on the bed, ignoring them completely as she filled with something else. No matter how hard you try, a person's scent can't be erased or replaced overnight. Choosing a deserted place to hide had only worked to Max's advantage. Thanks to Max's perfect memory for their scents, they were caught barely a day after arriving in Hathor. I didn't think we'd get caught so quickly. Jesus lowered her head and muttered, in a voice so quiet it shouldn't have reached Max's ears. What did you just say? but Max, who seemed to catch even a whisper, shot her a piercing glare. No, nothing, ma'am. Jesus stuck her head like a guilty puppy, her transparent ears drooping low. 100% Jesus is the golden retriever and Dale is the black cat of the relationship. And I love that. That's my favorite dynamic. One of my favorite dynamics. So, care to explain why you ran away and caused this mess? You want to stay tight-lipped even now? I see what you're thinking, Senior. What do I think? Jesus looked up at Max with the most harmless face she could manage, but even faced with those wide, innocent eyes, Max's expression remained cold as ice. Whenever you two run off causing trouble, it's always after you've discovered something important. You psychic. Cold sweat trickled down her back at the accuracy of Max's guess, but Jesus forced to wear a shaky smile. If nobody remembers, last time we had Dale figured out that Team 3 of the special organization we work for is actually working against us with one of the bad nobles or whatever, and but Dale has been suspended because she used her powers to kill people, and the team leader didn't like that, so she's been suspended for 6 months, and 2 months she can't use her powers, and her powers are that of hallucination, making people have hallucinations, and Jesus, our character, the blonde one, her powers is to nullify powers, and this one can smell. And yeah, they're trying to figure out the drug deal thing. All I can picture is her doing the Flynn Rider smile there. You're so right. She's looking up at her like, "Why?" Oh my god, no, I can't get it out of my head. That's so funny. I remember when I was a kid, when I watched that, when I was younger, and I watched that, I used to think that was so cringe. And then, it is, but it's hilarious, actually. For you to keep everything to yourself and act alone, it must mean you don't trust Adora or me. Maxie's icy gaze swept over Jesus, sharp and unwielding. That's not it, you two might end up in danger, that's why. Jesus shot a glance at Dale, sending a silent SOS her way. But Dale simply turned her head away, as if nothing had nothing to do with her, deliberately ignoring Jesus' desperate plea. You traitor. Trembling with betrayal, Jesus glared daggers at Dale, only for a cold, metallic touch to press against her forehead. Forward. Once more. If I blow your head off now, Senior, it'll make for a spectacular firework. Click, the sound of the safety being released echoed throughout the room. I'll ask you one more time. Will you keep your mouth shut and die? Or will you speak and die? Your call. With the black muzzle of death pointed straight at her. Either way, I'm dead. Jesus let out a silent internal scream. Jesus explained everything she had uncovered so far, as if making a solemn confession. The hyena. I'd already suspected they weren't just an ordinary smuggling ring, but I never imagined Claudia or an Eclipse chief would be involved. Claudia. Even Adora, who usually brushed everything off as someone else's problem, appeared to listen intently this time from beginning to end. Adora's mother is the CEO of Claudia, after all. Understood. Let's head back. We'll report to the captain and move forward accordingly. No, we can't go back yet. Now that it's come to this, Jesus had to gather every piece of information she could from Hathor before returning. So, you intend to keep on acting alone? For some reason, Max's words were directed not at Jesus, but at Dale. Despite Max's indirect reproach, Dale showed no reaction, her eyes fixed firmly on the laptop resting on her knees. In her stead, Jesus calmly continued. There's bound to be information here that could unravel this case. Since we've come all the way to Hathor, I want to investigate further. This isn't something we can handle on our own. We should return immediately to Eclipse and inform the captain. Of course, that's what I thought too. Unless we present them with undeniable evidence, they'll wriggle out by any means necessary. They have enough power and resources to do exactly that. Recalling Dale's words. Something stuck in my throat, I'm sorry. Recalling Dale's words, Jesus let out a low groan. Sorry, that was really cringe. How can I persuade Max? As if reading her mind, Max shot her a sharp glare that said, don't even think about it. Max, I want to look into this a bit more. But then an unexpected voice interrupted the tense exchange between Jesus and Max. Adora, who rarely voiced her own opinions, is now glancing towards Max for approval. Perhaps caught off guard by this unforeseen blow from someone who she'd consider an ally, Max, who had seemed so decisive mere moments ago, was visibly shaken. Max. Or Max. When Adora softly called her name once more, Max placed a hand to her forehead, as if suddenly feverish. When Adora set her mind to something, Max almost always caves in completely, indulging her every request. Probably because she never requests much, and so when she does, she's like, well, I gotta take my chances. Taking advantage of this perfect opportunity, Heisu politely placed her hands on her knees and lowered her head. Please, Max, just give us a little more time. Max looked alternatively between Adora and Heisu, eventually exhaling a long, resigned sigh. She then shot a quick glance at the unresponsive Dale and finally nodded, seemingly having reached her decision. Fine, but you have exactly 1 day. Even the captain would expect us to find you seniors in just a day. That's more than enough. Relieved that she'd clear a major obstacle, Heisu let out a deep breath and rose heavily from the floor with a creak. When Heisu looked at Dale, she gave a subtle nod, silently acknowledging exactly what Heisu had in mind. What I investigated yesterday is the current condition of Hathor's lower class. Dale cut directly to the heart of the matter, wasting no time. Over the past year, the number of missing persons in Hathor skyrocketed. Most of them were from the peasant and commoner classes. Max nodded carefully in agreement with Dale's words. I've heard countless have starved to death in Hathor. The nobles' extravagances leaves commoners with nothing, driving many to their deaths from hunger. It's so silent, my dude. Hathor is merciless towards its lower class. Those without supernatural powers are regarded as livestock, worthless beings without even the slightest dignity. Dale leaned back against the wall, shifting her gaze slowly from Max to Adora and finally resting upon Heisu, undressing her, thinking about her without her clothes, thinking, she looked really nice, kneeled right in front of... When humans are pushed to their physical and mental limits, who do they turn to first? In desperate circumstances, people naturally look toward an all-powerful entity for hope. And if there is one presence in the world, this world people turn to, the sun god. Oh, the sun, Yes, exactly, the Solarism Temple in Hathor. Many sought salvation by going to the temple, but the priests turned them away. That's absurd! Heisu's face twisted with disbelief as the truth she didn't want to accept. The ones they preach their doctrines are only those of Hathor's blood, the nobles. But the sun god sent her herald to this world to cherish peace and protect the weak. As those words slipped from her lips, Heisu immediately realized how naive she sounded, letting her sentence trail off. She knew well that even religion was no different from any other organization. When humans build organizations and seize authority, corruption is bound to follow. Heisu pressed her clenched fist to her chest, trying to calm the suffocating frustration welling up inside. Did you hear that? Can you hear that? Ow. Okay, stop. I'm sorry. Ow. That hurt. I've heard rumors of priests discriminating against Solarians away from the watchful gaze of the land of Solar. I guess they were true. Then, where could those forsaken even by the sun god go? Could it be? As Heisu met the gentle curve of Dale's lips, she thought. She found herself speaking an unexpected word. A pep. That name, rising unbidden from Heisu's subconscious, drew forth once again the whispering voice of a woman. O mighty Apep, grant eternal death to those fools. A large building stood alone on a street lined with abandoned houses. At its entrance, a crowd gathered. Being guided inside by women clad in black robes. Inside the high-ceilinged hall, rows of tables and chairs were neatly lined up. Your daily bread to sustain you today. Just as Dale had described, the robed women were handing out free bread and milk to the people inside. Oh, thank you. Truly, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thin, brittle arms, like twigs abandoned on drought-stricken earth, reached out to receive the food. Black robes. Though their faces weren't hidden by masks, the black robes matched exactly those outfits Team 1 had glimpsed back in Solar City. Ugh. Okay, well, let's see. Oh, fuck. It's one of these games. Ah! Is that better? Ooh, Dale, I want a piece of you, please. Oh, Dale, please. Just one chance. Just one chance, Dale, please. Just one chance.
Balls.
I can't help it, man. That's so stupid. Jesus and Dale quietly slipped into the long queue, waiting patiently for their share. Soon enough, it was Jesus' turn. Oh, thank you so much. Doing her best to mimic the pitiful voices, Jesus accepted her bread and milk gratefully. Good thing Max isn't here. She can never maintain a poker face. Max and Adora had opted to stake out from outside. Hidden from somewhere inconspicuous. I need to put my feet up. Hold on. Feet up time. Their placement was intentional, preparing for any possible scenario. After receiving their share, Jesus and Dale quickly settled down at an empty spot nearby. Sister, have faith. A happy day, will come soon. A cheerful voice, starkly contrasting with the bleak atmosphere, floated over from a few tables away. Several women in black robes were moving among the diners, speaking to them. Though their exchanges appeared harmless at first glance, an unmistakable air of careful selection hovered around their conversation. Those are obviously the lines used by cults to lure people in. Jesus mumbled. Oh, she mumbled it, sorry. Chewing on the tough bread. First, they fill your stomach, and then they fill your heart with sweet lies. The pattern of cults are always the same. Yes, cults spring up in every era, huh? Even in the world where the might of the one true god Ra could be seen with one's own eyes, new religions were constantly being born to suit humans' desires. The reading today is not reading. The heresy, heresy. I feel like it's hearsay, but it's not. Heresy that believed in this apep was also created for someone's benefit, and it was nothing more than a case of people with nowhere to turn rushing to it like moths to a flame. They are pitiful, but they cannot avoid punishment. Jesus looked back to the faces chewing on tear-stained dry bread and wore a bitter smile. It is also Eclipse's duty to investigate cults and punish those involved. Not only those who established the cult, but also those who believed in it will be punished. I'm just wondering, like, we have people with powers, and we still have, like, poverty and power issues and people dying for unjust reasons. I don't know. I guess no matter what, humans are still humans and they will still find a way to fuck everything up. So, across from Jesus, Dale was absently picking at her bread. When their eyes met, she subtly tilted her chin forward. Jesus nearly finished with her own plate, shifted her gaze slightly to the right, following where Dale's eyes were pointed. Two women who had been speaking with the worshippers were now leading several people towards a door situated deeper inside. At the sound of a knock, the door opened to reveal two imposing women wearing masks. As soon as they slipped beyond the doorway, the iron door shut firmly behind them, as if it had never been open. Even as the harsh clang of the doors echoed throughout the bleak hall, the people, absorbed in their meager meals, didn't so much as glance up. They looked too drained to muster the strength to turn their heads. We should check what's beyond that door. Jesus nodded in agreement, popping the last bit of bread into her mouth. I'm trying to make that popping sound. Whatever. Blending into the procession of thrifters who'd gotten what they'd come for, Jesus and Dale slipped silently from the distribution hall. With swift, soundless steps, the two moved around to the rear of the building. I would like to go to the rear of Dale. There, just past the doorway where the woman had disappeared, on the wall beside the distribution area was a window roughly twice Jesus' height. Dale directly pressed her back against the wall, crouched low, and formed a foothold with her interlocked hands above her thigh. I think I'm dirty-minded because I just pictured her putting her hands against the wall and then like putting her butt out so that she could like step onto her butt area, like lower back. So then I think I just want to see Dali back shots. Without hesitation, Jesus placed a foot onto Dali's hands and, in perfect rhythm with her partner's upward lift, leaped gracefully upward. Damn, Dali's strong. Jesus gripped the window frame with both hands and pulled herself up smoothly. Peeking her head inside, she saw a narrow corridor dimly lit by a few candles with no electric lights in sight. It looked like a two-story drop to the floor. Other than the 2 guards who had just opened the door, no one else was visible. Only 2 guards. Without ruling out the possibilities that they might be armed, or worse, possess new supernatural powers, Jesus untied the whip secured at her waist and lowered it to Dali. After climbing up the whip, Dali joined Jesus, and the 2 perched lightly on the window ledge. Jesus, let down your whip so I can climb it. Luckily, the windows was unlocked. Moreover, the thick crust of dried mud caked around the edges made it clear that this window had often served as an entrance. Definitely doesn't look like a one-time entry. And doesn't seem like they snuck in either. Could there be someone with bird-like powers? Finishing her swift analysis, Jesus turned to Dali and spoke in a low voice. I'd like to avoid causing a scene if possible. We don't know how many more might come running. As Jesus crossed her arms and ran infiltration scenarios through her head, Dali pointed. Look over there. Following the line of Dali's fingertip, I think, I want to put it in my mouth. Jesus noticed another window directly opposite of theirs, positioned precisely at the same height and bearing an identical design. One of us can go in there as bait, and the other one can handle things from the far side. Oh, long live symmetrical architecture. Despite Jesus' playful quip, Dali simply replied, I'll take the other side. Hi, Blitch! Welcome! How do you plan on getting up there? Asked Jesus. It's a stone wall. I can climb that. I'm pretty lightweight, after all. Her words carried an implicit, unlike you, causing Jesus' lips to form an annoyed pout, but Dali paid her no mind. That's what I'm saying, I thought Jesus was, like, bigger than Dali, so the fact that Dali just helped her up onto the window is quite something. But Dali's strong, but also little, not little, but like light or whatever. You got something for me? Is it a drawing? Ooh? Is it a... Ooh. There's no drawing. Come on, you bamboozled me. I can't believe this. Since Dali couldn't use her power at the moment, the job of dealing with the guards naturally fell to Jesus. Ah! Lich! Jesus! Thank you, but what the hecky? Oh. Thank you, Lich. I appreciate it. You're such a goofy goober! Ah! I give big kiss. Mwah. Thank you. Is it my birthday today? Wow! Happy birthday! As soon as Dali climbed into the opposite window and her gaze met Jesus, the plan was set into motion. So Dali is on the other side and I'm missing. Holy shit! Hi, Angel, you're silly. You silly goose. The guards, startled by Dali bursting through the window, fumbled frantically for their weapons. In the brief moment when their attention was stolen by the intruder, the guards with their backs to Jesus' window quickly became prey to her whip. Hi, Angel! Why do you not say hi to me? You only say hi to chat? What about me? I want a hello. I want a hello. Baby wants a hello. I can't believe this. My own. It's always the ones closest to you. I can't believe this. I said hi. I'm better than Angle. She's right. She did say hi. That was the first thing she said. She said hi to me. Angel, come on. You gotta step it up. Jeez. Hello. Oh, hi, Chief. Welcome, welcome. I was not crying my eyes out. In that brief moment, oh yeah. The whip coiled tightly around their ankles. Yoink! And before they could let out as much of a scream, The two guards toppled in disgraceful heaps, eyes rolling back, frothing bubbles at their mouths. Goddamn. Must have hit their jaws pretty hard. Ew. Jesus dragged the unconscious guards as to the farthest, darkest corner she could find, and stripped them of their masks and weapons. Oh, I thought she was just gonna fully strip them and wear their clothes. Which is, nice. Good twink. She then approached the door, wedging a gun horizontally between the opposing handles to create a makeshift lock. Throughout it all, Dale stood completely motionless on the other side, her attention fixed intently on a distant spot. She's standing there like that emoji. The standing emoji. Which I think is very silly. We're on a tight clock, and my butthole is tight. There's a stairway over there. Pulling the masks over their tense faces, Jesus and Dale moved towards the staircase. A spiral staircase descended into an oppressive gloom without a single candle to guide their steps. How much further down does this go? By Jesus' estimate, they had descended roughly 4 stories underground when murmuring sounds slowly began to rise from below. Soon after, a procession of candle flames appeared before them, wavering like tiny stars at midnight. Without the appearance of the lights, the seemingly endless stairway finally ended, leading them to an opening into somewhere unknown. Into the unknown. She's just standing there, menacingly, burying their faces into the shadows of their hoods, or burying their faces in the shadowed hoods of their robes. Jesus and Dale seamlessly blended into the end of the procession. None of the gathered worshippers paid them any attention. Every gaze was focused singularly upon the looming abyss ahead of them. You said 4 stories. I thought you said steps, and I was like, relatable? 4 steps. 4 steps. 4 steps. 4 steps. Stories. 4 stories? Four stories. 4 stories. Four stories. I see. They had descended roughly 4 stories underground. What do you mean? Thought you said steps. So 4 steps. They have descended 4 steps underground. Are you saying you're burying yourself, Prim? Oh my god, why am I so stupid? That's why you guys like me. It's fine. You guys like me because of my silly, stinky, stupidness. Because if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't like me. The procession gradually moved forward, swallowed up by the maw, until at last it was Jesus and Dale's turn. What is this? Crossing the threshold, they entered a vast auditorium drenched in darkness, where a stage draped in deep red curtains stood at the center. The crimson curtains bleeding into the shadows were the only color in the otherwise lifeless space, their presence stark and striking. With a rustling swish, the curtains parted and a sharp spotlight flared to life. The stage alone gleamed in the barren hall, revealing the altar at its heart. A woman stepped solemnly into the cascade of light. We give our thanks to our greater Pep for bringing so many sisters together today. Her voice rang out clear and deliberate, echoing through the hall like lines delivered upon a stage. Oh, mightier Pep! Oh, mightier Pep, deliver our wretched sisters from their suffering. Grant us salvation. Oh, yes, mightier Pep. Voices rose from the hall in a fevered chant. Hundreds, perhaps far more, of desperate worshippers reciting prayers in the frenzy that resembled screams. The eerie sight sent a chill crawling up Jesus' spine, raising prickling goosebumps along her arms. So many people. I'll explain later, because I'm your friend, and we talk every day, because I'm number 1. Yes, you are. It's like she's trying to prove something. She's like, guys, I promise you, we do. It's silly. It is true, though. Are all these people truly heretics? The echoing chorus that filled the auditorium receded like a dying tide, leaving behind a single resonant voice. They say the sun god Ra sent her divine herald down upon the earth, spilling her own blood to bestow powers upon humanity, powers meant to rescue us from oppression. But what has become of our world as a result? As soon as the woman's grief-stricken question fell silent, murmurs of anguish and sorrow swept through the crowd below. Or to feed the greed of nobles, the favored children of Ra, blessed by the sun god. Meanwhile, sisters like us perish helplessly upon this barren soil. Sorry. Those who had labored like livestock, yet were never paid enough to feed even themselves, those driven to the brink of death after months of starvations, those beaten mercilessly, nearly killed by their noble masters. Holding these bitter memories, worshippers groaned and sobbed desperately among themselves. But our god Apep has never abandoned us. As the woman at the altar spoke her final words, a follower passed a jet black bag directly into Jesus' hands. Then the woman who had handed over the bag subtly raised her palm as though giving a silent signal. Instantly, followers holding similar bags around her opened them with soft rattles. Holding their breaths, Jesus mimicked their movements, reaching into the bag as if daring to open Pandora's box. But inside the containers were not all the world's sins and calamities. Instead, there were dozens of tiny glass vials, each filled with a vivid crimson liquid. Countless vials, each containing perhaps 20 milliliters of a fluid as red as freshly drawn blood, waited expectantly within. Apep will grant us new strength and a new life. With faint clicks, those unnaturally bright red vials passed into the awaiting hands of worshippers beneath the stage, each seemingly destined for a specific owner. Deeply unsettled, Jesus had no choice but to follow suit. She quietly withdrew the vials from the bag and began handing them to the worshippers around her. Oh, thank you so much. Accepting the vial from Jesus, one of them bowed repeatedly, whispering words of tearful gratitude. God Almighty! Grant us your merciful blessing! At the end of thin, skeletal arms reaching desperately towards the sky, clasped hands held tightly onto the mysterious vials like precious holy relics. With every shuddering motion, the blood-red liquid inside sloshed eerily from side to side. As if they were bound by some unspoken command, the worshippers who had received the vial stretched their arms heavenward in unison. At the tip of those gaunt branches hung the small vials, grotesquely resembling ripe forbidden fruit. The desperate fervor of them, so intense it bordered on sheer madness, made Jesus involuntarily scrunch her face in disgust. Now, take into your bodies the sacred blood of Apep. At the woman's proclamation, the gathered worshippers eagerly poured the crimson liquid into their mouths, without the slightest hesitation, treating it as a divine ambrosia. I feel so much power! Oh, mighty Apep! With this, I can finally draw near to our great mother. Thank you! It was supposed to be a little bit louder than that. Dreamy moans. I mean, hey, I did a dreamy moan, right? Dreamy moans of ecstasy drifted throughout the crowd, as if they were trapped in a blissful nightmare. One among the entrance followers suddenly clutched her head and began thrashing uncontrollably. Then, grotesque lumps began swelling unnaturally beneath her skin. Sisters, bear witness! Look upon the overflowing power granted by Apep's blessing. Emitting a monstrous... Oh, that was not monstrous at all. Hold on. It's a little better. Emitting a monstrous scream scarcely recognizable as a human, the woman violently swung her swollen, grotesque fist down upon her head of the worshipper sitting nearest to her. Owie! A vivid red flower instantly blossomed on the floor, as if someone had smashed a ripe tomato into stone. Eh? The sudden shocking of the spectacle before her eyes froze Jesus' thoughts in place. All she could do was clamp a hand over her mouth, fighting back the rising wave of nausea. There was nothing else she could do. This is it! This is the true form of those who fully embrace a pep's power!
Oh, whoa, ooh, my god, grant me strength too!
Now this is the form one takes after receiving a pep's blessing. Even as someone died before their eyes, the worshippers cried out in rapture, their faces contorted with blissful frenzy. The word madness... The word madness felt laughably insufficient to describe the scene. They're insane! Alright, I can't do it again. The woman, no longer recognizable as human, continued her frenzied rampage without a hint of slowing down. Whoa, shit, ooh, somebody's watching me. In the midst of the swirling madness, Jesus suddenly sensed eyes upon her. She turned her head, following the weight of that lingering stare. Eh? There, on the second floor, overlooking the auditorium, like an opera house balcony, a shadowed figure loomed. The distance and darkness obscured this figure's features completely. There. Jesus understood instantly. It's her. She's responsible for this living nightmare. The dreadful premonition clawing at Jesus' chest was coming precisely from there. Her instincts whispered fiercely, catching that woman would unravel this horror entirely. Just as Jesus moved decisively through the surging sea of bodies towards the stairs leading to the second floor, someone suddenly clamped down her arm. The instant Jesus turned her gaze to shake off the hand, Dale gripped her wrist firmly. Though her face was hidden by the deep hood of her robe, the fierce resolve in her grip spoke louder than words. Jesus suppressed the urge to dash up to the second floor that very moment and parted her lips to convey her certainty to Dale. The key to all of this is up there. At that moment... Gah! Me when I get stabbed. Gah! Oh, I also like you, you pity bit. So scary, so monstrous. It's also a woman. Something that had once been a human head sailed grotesquely through Jesus' vision. Ah! With a monstrous howl. Oh, ow! The thing that had been human mere moments ago began mercilessly trampling the twitching, headless body beneath its feet. Ugh, that's disgusting. Long before the Oh! Alceda got a Diva membership! Yay! Also, thank you for the 5 members. My baby, my precious. Thank you. We got Alceda. Yippee! You got her. You sniped her. Yippee! Long before the arrival of the sun god Ra, the world had been consumed by eternal darkness, mired in endless chaos. Let's with a snipe. Let's go. He sniped her. Let's go. Yay. I'll take a drink to that. Of water. Not alcohol. I'm not a freak. Like Prim. Sorry, Prim. That was too far. I know you. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She doesn't drink. A lot. Hello, Rimsey. Welcome. How are you doing? It's been a while. It was the one true god Ra who brought light into that abyss overflowing with despair, and only then had the world finally known peace. But staring helplessly at the horrific scene unfolding before her, Jesus briefly wondered if that abyss itself had once more been unleashed upon this world. I haven't drank in a month? That's a lie. But also, I don't care. Live your best life. Who says the drinking is bad? Everyone? That's weird. This is the thing. Nothing is inherently bad, and I mean, like, I'm not saying just in general. It's not bad when you have... Oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for a word. Like, if you know how to, like, if you're not over-consuming, I guess I should say, and that goes with everything. You did nothing, huh, Prim? Twice we played Peak. Twice, and both times you wanted to divorce me the entire time. The entire time she talked about divorce. And my poopy diaper, but that's irrelevant. Hi, I'm doing good, Rimsey. I'm thinking about women. In moderation, thank you! Yes, moderation. Everything is fine if done in moderation. If you don't, you know, it goes with anything: sugar, porn, internet, weed, I don't know. Moderation. I apologize and ask you not to divorce me after how long did we stream? 2 hours? And then the one before that was 2 more hours? 4 hours of torment? After 4 hours of torment, and I apologize just now, I'm sorry. I'm just goofing. I'm sorry. If you drink any fluids, technically you are drinking. I mean, you are drinking fluids. I remember I was telling people I was going to get drinks, and I was just getting soda, and they were like, why are you getting alcohol? I'm like, what? Prim, I said sorry already. I said sorry the moment I said it. Wow. Staring helplessly at the horrific scene unfolding before her, Jesus briefly wondered if that abyss itself had once more been unleashed upon this world. I can't make you stay because it is your life, but... I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No more. Jesus couldn't simply stand by and watch this nightmare continue. She desperately stretched out her hand, determined to prevent any more senseless slaughter, but no, we have to get out of here now. Dele's resolute voice halted Jesus' hand mid-motion. Prim, okay. Excuse me. Can't see it right now. Hold on. Hold on. I'm sorry. What am I? Hold on. I give head pats. See? I say sorry. I give head pats. The heads have been pats. Apology accepted. Apology accepted. What the hell did I do to you? Let's be nice, guys. We love her. I think they are being nice in their own weird fantasy way. Did you know? I mean, okay. Shit. Bing Bong lied, but let's just say, sure, Prim is the top. I think that's apology enough, right? Although Bing Bong is a fucking liar, but we'll pretend like he is right now. Not a liar. But thanks, Slitch. But goddamn. I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm too overwhelmed with emotions right now. I'm too overwhelmed. I'm thinking, oh god, I'm a terrible person. Oh no, Prim hates me. And then I'm like, I didn't say anything that bad. I didn't tell her to do bad things. They do love each other. They claim they don't, but they actually love each other. She's like, oh god, I was gonna say something bad again. Me and my big ass mouth. Bing Bong told the truth and you're mad about it. That's why you're being so mean. I'm not being mean. I said a joke. I said a joke. Also, yeah, congratulations, Alcetta. You got sniped. What were you about to say, Chu? I'm not gonna say it because that might ruin everything. I was gonna say something bad. Not that bad, but I was gonna say, like, something that you guys wouldn't want me to say, especially Prim. But I'm a mod, I gotta know. No, you don't. I'm keeping my lips sealed. Sealed. Say it, coward. I'm not saying it. Not gonna say it.
I love the dynamic between Prim and Angle. It's hilarious, and even then, they are absolute gems for your truest friends, and even as their own people.
They are just little guys, for real, for real. I'm not really sure why the beef started. Oh, I never mind. What am I fucking just saying? Of course I know. They're fighting for first place. And I think it's hilarious. They're so goofy. When in my heart, everyone is first place. Because I love everyone. Because if it weren't for everyone, I wouldn't be here where I am today. I'd probably still be doing this even if I had, like, nobody, but that's just because I love it. I'm in the love of the game. It's because I was your first channel member. You were like, I need to be first. Yeah, that was fun.
Because we love you. Oh!
Nah. There is no right or wrong way or anything. Yeah, please. You need to put yourself first, guys. Just remember that. You are first. You are number one. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. You are number one. You are number one.
Now listen closely. You are stinky and very, very cool, but that doesn't mean it. I'm not fucking out.
Christmas gifts. Christmas is around the corner. I got some gingerbread snapped cookies and it smells so fucking good. I love it. I'm so mad about that. I was at work so I couldn't get first. You guys are goofy. Jesus started the protest. Holy shit, Lich. God damn. Where is all this coming from? Holy shit. Christ, thank you. But oh my god. I'm so overwhelmed. Jesus. The comp. God damn. Shit. I don't... What... Heiso and Dale were here to investigate. In a foreign land, especially in a place drowning in this kind of madness, any suspicious actions could cost them their lives. I'm like, I should be reading, but like, so much is happening all at once, and I'm like, wah! For now, retreating is the best choice. Jesus' outstretched hand fell weakly by her side. Ugh. Lich, you're goofy. As soon as they put enough distance between themselves and that dreadful building, Heisu clutched at the wall, dry heaves racking her body. They looked like addicts. They probably are. They drank the Kool-Aid. They have nothing. Hence why they're so easily vulnerable. Your stream, it brings joy to me, honestly, and it also makes me happy to have met your mods, your friends, and the other friends. I am very, very lucky to have you guys as well. I often look through my art channel because I'm like, just some days I'm like, I want to see my arts channel, see all the beautiful arts that these beautiful people have made, and it just makes me really happy that I have been able to be fortunate enough to see them. So, thank you. Thank you. I also have the pleasure. They looked utterly broken, their minds and reasoning completely shattered. It makes no sense that a single drug could warp someone's body like that. It might be the side effects of prolonged use. Dale's voice was detached, analyzing the situation clinically without even a trace of emotion. Side effects? Just side effects can do something like that to someone's body? Only after hearing her words echo did Heisu realize she'd raised her voice unintentionally, and she quickly took a calming breath. Right now, all we can do is take this drug back and analyze its contents. In Dudley's palm, the sinister vial sloshed gently, filled with its ominously crimson liquid. Heisu, too, quickly drew out a vial, and she'd concealed up her sleeve the instant she'd first opened the bag. Yeah. The lovers. I got the lovers achievement. I didn't see no love in there. I saw chaos. Precious and sweet, and it's just a treat, honestly, to feel that kind of happiness in community and be able to have such much fun and joke about it as well. This is what I love about this community, is that you can just be goofy, say dumb shit. Obviously, there's like a line, but we all know not to cross that line because we all are proper people, but we're all just having fun here, and that's what truly makes this whole thing such a good time, is that you have this space where you can turn your brain off and go goofy mode. Hopefully. So it is very, very precious, and I'm always grateful for it as well. I think about it a lot. I think sometimes I annoy Prim and Angel with that, where I'm just like, yeah, I feel bad talking like so much about it because I feel like it's very annoying, but like sometimes I can't help but just like burst with gratefulness, you know? Yeah. The chapel had descended into sheer pandemonium, consumed entirely by worshippers' uncontrollable frenzy. Seated impassively in the second-floor balcony, Harold looked down upon the chaotic spectacle unfolding below, her expression indifferent. From behind came the sound of footsteps, deliberately unconcealed. I've returned. Chase, following orders, precisely immediately returned to Harold's side. Aha, aha. Without sparing her a glance, Harold simply raised one hand in acknowledgement. Among the churning sea of frenzied worshippers, who surged like a living tide, two figures moved against the current, hastily making their exit. Harold's gaze remained locked on their abnormal movements until they vanished from sight. Chase stood silently beside Harold, who continued to stare into the abyss of chaos below. From her lips, a dark, cynical mutter slipped out. Fools! One of my favorite things is buttering you up. Damn! At least someone likes buttering me up. I'm kidding. They're absolutely precious, so adorable and funny and kind. You have such a big heart, just being 3 berries. At least you got my height right. Unlike these little poopies, they keep saying I'm 2 berries, even though I'm 3. But thank you for getting it right. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate. I'm trying so hard to accept compliments. Compliments are super hard for me to accept, and I'm like, I gotta stop brick walling people. I gotta, because people are genuinely giving me compliments, and it's like, it's rude of me to be like, no, I'm not that. But it's like, sometimes it's so hard because I don't see myself as that. I see myself in a very how to say, I don't, you know, I think I have imposter syndrome. You know, I don't think that I am what I am, so it's hard. But I'm really trying. I'm really trying. I'm trying so hard, I promise. You can never be annoying to any of us. You're just the right amount to banter and rant with. I appreciate it. What the fuck? I can't help it though. Like I said, I have a problem. And I think that everything I say is, I'm like, oh, I should just stop. No, it's 3 berries. God damn it, I'm telling you, my mods don't even know anything. Oh god, I don't know how you feel. I tend to do that so much, but I force myself to not be like rude or whatever and say thank you, because it's just having to really had compliments for so many years before. Well, yeah, I was told I was pretty shit at everything for long periods of times. I don't know what kind of English that was. And it's not just that, it's just I feel like sometimes you as a human can't help but compare yourself to others, especially when you're younger. And I'm thinking like, wow, I am dog shit at everything. I have nothing that I'm good at, and I'm just blah. So when people are like, oh, you did a really good job on that, I'm like, no, I didn't. Take a look at this person. They did way better than me. And it's like, okay, well, they're not looking at them, they're looking at you, so just take the compliment, goddammit. I'm doing better. Albeit, I'm still struggling to say, like, wow, thanks. I am so happy that you are complimenting me. I am doing better. I think, actually. I'm not sure, because I don't see myself from the outside, but I think I'm doing better. Bullied when I was younger, and even then I was compared to others a lot, so I always dismiss compliments I got when I was older. It's a tricky thing, but you have to teach yourself to be your cheerleader. You have to cheer yourself on and, yeah, hold that within and be like, yes, let that fuel you and keep that positivity going. When people are giving you these positive things, you go, yoink, yoink, thank you very much, wow, thank you, and wow, this is amazing. Is genuinely one of the funniest and nicest people I've ever met, and I'm so thankful I asked her on a date on a whim. Yeah, literally the first day we met, well, not technically the first day, but technically the first day we met was our first date as well, so we literally started dating from day one. Power couple! Comparison can help with improvement, but don't take it to belittle hard work. I think comparison is good when you are trying to grow, but I think sometimes you can overwhelm yourself by comparing and putting yourself down instead of growing from it. And I still struggle with it sometimes. I try not to do it. Sometimes you just can't help it. But like, you just sometimes, okay, the amount of times I've been like, I quit art when I was younger because I was sick of comparing myself to others and being like, I'm not good enough and this and that, you know? And I'm like, I'm done with art. And then I came back to it because end of the day, I love doing art and I couldn't leave it even for like a day. I was like, no, I gotta go back to it. So, you know, if you enjoy something, just do it. Who gives a fuck who's better at this and that or that? You're not them. This is about what you like to do. Not about what they like to do or what they're doing or how fast those people are growing. Just do you. You do you. Also, anime movie / manga one-shot written by the person that made Chainsaw Man. It's called Look Back. It's actually really good. Watch it or read it. Like the experience is pretty similar when you read it or watch it. It's really good. Watch it. Look Back. LOOK space BACK. Look Back. Really good. Only 1 hour of your time. It's really good. Ooh. Are you really a thing? I'm getting so many mixed signals, so I don't know if it's true or not. Oh no, me and Prim are just really good friends. From day one, we were saying we're wives, but that's just because, like, we are very... How to say? We're very intimate in the way we express love, so we just call each other our wives, and we joke around that we are dating, or not dating, we're married. No, we're just friends. It's okay. That's fine. I don't mind you asking at all. Don't worry. If you're ever confused about something, don't be afraid to ask. Yeah, she's a boy kisser.
Yucky, stinky. You.
Fools! Platonic wives. But, I would. I'm kidding. Would. There is no such thing as a god. Is that so? Harold, who had shown no interest in Chase's presence until that very moment, turned to face her. Caught off guard by Harold's rare seriousness, Chase stared back with wide eyes, meeting Harold's deep, shadowed gaze. Don't tell me, you believe in God? You? Ugh. Including Megan and Chase. Everyone connected to the Herald believed her to be nothing more than a con artist and merchant, someone selling the illusion of God pep. That's why Chase couldn't help but be taken aback by the seriousness in her eyes. Chase, God exists. Or God does exist. Boy kisser, derogatory is a crazy sentence.
Thank you.
I need to have my next model to have like making the heart hand sign because I do the heart hand sign a lot, but it's my face sometimes. Do the little K-pop heart thing a lot. Yeah. Harold spoke, her voice sweet and reassuring as though comforting a child with candy. Her eyes moved slowly downward, drifting from Chase's stunned face. Resting a steady hand upon the balcony railing, Harold then threw herself gracefully down into the whirlpool of madness below. God damn! Lich, goddamn! Jesus! Lich, what is happening? You're scaring me! Are you okay? Is everything okay? I love you, but are you okay? My precious bean, are you okay? Ooh. As casually as one might stroll through a peaceful park, Harold took a few leisurely steps, approaching the very heart of the chaos, and traced a single clean line across the creature's artery. From the neck of what had once been human, dark red liquid burst forth violently, a gory fountain sprang high into the air. Blink twice in a row if you're in trouble. Blink once for yes, twice for no. Are you okay? The scattered blood descended in a macabre rain, staining Harold's immaculate white suit with clusters of red spider lilies. The puppet, its cord of life cut, folded in upon itself and sank to the ground. Bitch better not be using Mom's credit card. Yet witnessing the brutal execution unfolding right before their eyes only drove the worshippers into deeper frenzy, their fervent prayers growing louder and wilder. Wanted to hear the clown honks during the tense moments? You're silly! I think the clown honks will stay for the memberships, and then the donation one will be the donation sound is gonna change to balls. Balls. I have my own credit card. They're accusing you. Up, up, save us, sisters. The woman at the altar seized upon the explosive momentum, orchestrating the dramatic crescendo like a seasoned performer. Oh, sisters, the sacred day of Apep's divine descent draws near.
Lead us onward, our one true mother.
Ooh?
With their blood,
with the flesh, we shall summon forth the descent of Apep. And thus, even unto this world drowned in sin, divine salvation shall at last arrive. You sounded so outraged. No! Not Prim typing balls right as she played the sound, but she knows. She had the sense for the balls. She has the ball sense. I mean, she is a boy kid. I'll stop. It said it and it said balls in the stream because she said it. Imagine. That'd be so funny actually. Every time somebody says balls in chat, Maybe I can do that every time, but that's gonna get so chaotic so fast. People are just gonna say balls the whole time, and it's just gonna go balls, 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 balls. Drenched thoroughly in crimson, Harold's mask-like face gradually twisted into an expression of transcendent, undeniable rapture. Harold is hot. The boy kisser comment was... I mean, she kinda knows balls, I imagine. You know what I have to say about that?
Balls.
I can't. Oh my days. Please, please, calm yourself, Lady Harold. Ah! The furious scream, not stream, that burst from Harold's mouth, unbelievable for someone so young, was enough to strike terror into everyone within the mansion. Seeing the servants around her trembling in fear only ignited an even deeper rage in Harold at the unbearable monotony of it all. How am I supposed to calm down? Furious stream of piss. Harold seized whatever was within reach, hurling objects and shattering them to pieces. Ah! A gnawing dread consumed her, a fear that if she didn't release the storm of fury raging within her, she might lose her mind. Above all else, she feared boredom, the creeping sensation of being consumed by silence, feeling herself dissolving into nothingness. Gen Alpha, Americas. Gen Alpha, Americas. I'll say it again. Gen Alpha, Americas. For Harold, boredom was a horror worse than death, a corrosive poison steadily stripping away her very identity. Gen Alpha, Americas. They do not know how to do boredom. Oh, Alceda, good luck at work. Thank you for coming, and thank you for your nice comments. I really appreciate it. Ooh. Get out! Thanks to her near daily outbursts of rage. The Esna mansion hardly knew a single day of peace.
Love you. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next time, hopefully. Bye-bye.
Gen Alpha cringe. I agree. That's crazy. I hear the get out as I'm going. Gen Alpha, am I right? Perhaps in an attempt to appease Harold, her mother showered her with gifts. Harold dear, how about this? I brought back this toy car from my business trip. I've procured the finest jewel, perfectly suited to you. Do you like it? Toys designed to amuse children her age, glittering baubles intended to charm a noble girl with exquisite sensibilities. Yet to Harold, every single gift was insufferably dull, mere trifles that made her yawn in boredom. Though her mothers were undeniably Harold's creators, it was clear they did not understand her at all. In the end, Harold resolved to craft her own toys. Things without life were unbearably tedious. Her toys had to have hot blood coursing vividly through their veins. Her mother's cat was Harold's first toy, but even that amusement didn't last long. The cat broke before it could fully sate Harold's curiosity. It left behind only a deep, hollow emptiness in her chest. Harold! Why? Why would you do something like this? You must be possessed by an evil spirit. How could you be so cruel? Her mother seemed blind to the gaping void in Harold's heart, choosing instead to scold her. Why should I be blamed for breaking a toy? Harold felt only seething disgust towards her mothers, who could never understand. Weak, fragile animals soon bored Harold, and inevitably her fascination turned to humans. Out of sheer boredom, Harold killed a servant. And when that no longer sated her restlessness, she murdered a passing stranger. Her mothers, seemingly exhausted by Harold's actions, shifted to outright neglect. Though they used their power and wealth to hush up her crimes, they appeared to have abandoned any hope of scolding her further. As the days of bloodshed passed, Harold's childhood slipped away, and she stood on the cusp of adulthood. And Gen Alpha, am I right? She's still hot. Drenched in the blood of a mangled corpse, Harold clawed at her head in anguish. The act of tearing a human apart was bearable, but afterwards came the death-like silence that swallowed her whole. Harold fought desperately to cling to her unraveling sanity. You know, you could just play with like a friend. You don't have to tear them up because now they're dead and they don't have that pulsing thing in there. You know, you could be... Anyways, what do I know? Boring! Boring. Damn, this is cool, actually. Jesus. Oh, fucking mouse. Ruining everything. Boring! The elongated shadow trailing behind her writhed, resonating eerily with Harold's anguished voice. Then, with a sudden lurch, whoa, the shadow split. Oops, I pressed too soon. That was the day Harold first fully realized her own supernatural power. Ever since her ability manifested, Harold had begun spending more and more days submerged within shut, letting herself sink deeper into its comforting darkness. Shut was the sole refuge capable of calming Harold's fracturing mind. Her shut writhed like a living creature, resonating in perfect harmony with the darkness within her. Just as light inevitably casts shadows, I am the shadow trailing behind the world of light brought by Ra. Before I could brought forth the sun, the world was naught but chaos and gloom. The abyss. Comforting, fuck you saying? I don't know! I don't know what I'm saying. I think it's pronounced shoot. You know better than me, Liz. Way more. The abyss. To Harold, it could be nothing short of paradise on earth. Under the sun's relentless glare, darkness could only ever be rejected and denied. If this goes on, I'll be crushed by this world and vanish. Fierce flames stained the night sky a furious scarlet, greedily devouring the once majestic mansion. Witnessing the blazing spectacle, Harold released an unconscious sigh of awe. Duke Jana's mansion, home of the leading noble faction, said to possess power rivaling the primordial might of Hathor's ruler, but was burning to ashes. Sorry, I'm speaking like I'm a broken record. Having fully grasped her own power by now, Harold had grown increasingly adept at behaving as a normal person. Her mothers, relieved that their heir to House Esna had finally come to her senses, eagerly began entrusting family affairs to Harold without reservation. On that day, Harold had come. On that day, Harold had come to deliver a message directly from her parents, staunch allies of the noble faction, to Duke Gianna. But instead of finding the Duke, Harold was greeted only by the sight of a mansion collapsing helplessly, like a fragile sandcastle eroded by surging waves. This is the end of the world. Watching flames dance madly, swallowing all life within, Harold felt intoxicated and completely captivated by ecstasy unlike anything she had ever known. She felt it with searing clarity, the moment all existence dissolved into void, and the breathless instant when every living soul turned to ash. Why am I speaking like I'm not good? She alone stood nearest to the final flicker of light, as it was swallowed by darkness, and fully surrendered to the suffocating beauty of the world's end. Just then, Harold's gaze caught the faint movement of a small figure slipping behind the burning mansion. Before any conscious thought, Harold instinctively followed the figure. Behind the mansion, still barely holding on to its collapsing shape, a child was walking alone, heading toward the garden's rear gate. Wait! As Harold called softly, the child slowly turned to look back at her. It was the face Harold had seen before. She remembered the small figure silently observing from the corner, when she'd once visited Duke Jana's mansion for an official meeting to the noble faction. Lock in, goat. I'm trying. Too much stuff in brain, can't read. I was drawing before stream, the next shorts practice thing. So I was thinking about that, and I kind of wrote a script, and it was weird, and there's just a lot on my mind. Jana's ass? What are you talking about? Why are you guys thinking about ass? You're the Duke's only heir. Heir? Eee. Just as Harold's lips parted to speak the name, her shadow, cast in ominous relief by the apocalyptic flames, touched the child's silhouette. In that instant, Harold was helplessly pulled into the darkness where their shadows converged. While Harold's power allowed passage between shoots, it also granted her uncanny insights into the innermost truths of their owners. Having sunk herself into countless shoots before, Harold knew at once that this was unlike any of she had ever encountered. An utterly alien realm. The essence of this unfathomable void bore no resemblance to her own shadows. It was a vast, seething mass of hatred, directed against all living things. An insatiable force existing only to extinguish life itself. No, you said it like that. I didn't say shit. Why are you... Why? Don't blame me, Angel. Don't blame me for your own ears. An insatiable force existing only to extinguish life itself. The abyss incarnate. The bottomless mire dragged Harold down with an irresistible force like a beast flailing in a swamp. And then... Ah! Without the slightest warning, Harold's hand began to liquefy, revealing the stark white bones beneath. Her body melted like ice cream, everything inside spilling and sloshing helplessly to the floor. Consumed as nourishment for hatred itself, she disappeared from this world in silence. With a sudden choking gasp, Harold released the breath she'd been unknowingly holding, collapsing heavily onto her knees. In her blurred, trembling vision, she saw her hand firmly pressed against the ground, clearly intact despite the vivid memory of it melting completely away. From somewhere above, droplets fell one by one, blooming into ethereal blossoms as they touched the floor. I'm not dead. What just happened? Through the misted haze that clouded her vision, she caught sight of two small feet, tiny and delicate as those of a porcelain doll. Still kneeling, Harold slowly raised her gaze to the feet's owner. There stood a child bathed in dark, blacker than midnight, silhouetted by cold, silvery moonlight.
Die.
A pale, gleaming blade lunged forward without hesitation, aiming to cut Harold's life short. In that moment, Harold sensed death closing in, and she came to a single, undeniable truth. The shoot named Harold, gnawing away at the human. I am but a single drop of ink within the abyss. True darkness has descended upon this world. The world Harold had always known. So perilously close to utter silence. I was having a grape. Even in the world of only women, the fuck-ass name Harold persists. Damn it! Sorry if your name is Harold. No, you're not, Prim. You're not sorry if your name is Harold. She's like, nah, I don't fucking care. If your name is Harold. It's funny that they have... I didn't expect the name Harold to be in this, honestly. Like, that was the last thing... Whoa, I'm strong, guys. My muscles are muscling right now. Oh my god. I bet you guys want a piece of this. I bet you guys want a piece of this. I'm sorry that your name is Harold, I mean. That's so goofy. And now, I would like a piece of this. Oh yeah, do you want a picture? Do you want a picture? There you go. What am I doing? Can I have some? I'm gonna... It's actually mainly my right arm. That's more mostly. Although, I just know that if I do send a picture, they're gonna bully me. They're gonna be like, you have twig arms! You have the tiniest arms I've ever seen in my fucking life! You are the smallest person I've ever witnessed with my 2 eyes! You are so incredibly small, I have to use a microscope to look at this picture, I just can see it already. Was now shattered by the thunderous pounding of her own heart. I'm going to goon, I can see it, Prim, I can see the future. Scalding blood surged through every vein, filling her with exultation. You are the end of this world. She spoke just before the razor-sharp blade pierced her artery. The being standing before me is death itself. The one destined to consume all life. Holy shit, dust. That's what you get when you're 2 berries tall. Well, I'm 3, first of all. And it has a little bit of muscle. It's a bit stronger. It's like when I flex, it's very nice and firm. Like it still has the softness, but it has the firmness as well. The left one does have it, but not as much as the right one. Probably because I jork it so much. I'm kidding. That's a good. God damn it! The arc of the blade's gleam came to an abrupt halt. From Harold's neck, barely spared from being pierced, red droplets welled up like ripened fruit. Please, please take me with you. Like a worthless human praying desperately to God far beyond her reach. For the first time in her life, Harold knelt before someone, placing a hand over her heart. I swear I will be of use to you. Yeah, I was about to say this because you jack off so much. Damn it, guys! No! I know I said it, but god damn it, guys! You're not supposed to call me out. It's because I'm drawing. It's because this is my dominant hand. I use it to drink water and eat grapes and draw. It's not because I'm dorking it. Wherever you lead, please let me follow your path, O God of Death. Bring salvation upon this world forged by Ra. Through death. I got the achievement called The Descent. True darkness has fallen upon the land. I've seen our Twitter DMs, you can't deny it. And I use my right hand to send those DMs, so that's why it's tough clicking so many send DMs of pictures of delicious things that it has made my right arm very swole. Stop! I promise you! I'm even pressing the enter button with my right arm. I draw with my right arm. I scroll with my right arm. I drink with my right arm. I jerk it with my... After Max and Adora passed through the first gate, Asu and Dale followed close behind. It's tough sending so much DMs with one hand, exactly. As always, a brief wave of dizziness washed over them, and the blinding whiteness filling their vision snapped into focus. What awaited them in the laboratory they arrived at was Ricky and Ryan. Ruh-roh, Raggy. We're cooked, guys. We're so cooked and... The moment Jesus spotted Ryan, she reflexively snapped into an impeccably stiff attention posture. It's just your Viking genes. Exactly. Beside her, Dale shuffled into position slowly, looking thoroughly annoyed at the entire situation. Alright then. Care to explain why you decided to abandon your post? Ryan stood with her arms crossed, looking up at Jesus. Captain? Beneath Ryan's hardened expression, Jesus could sense the murderous aura emanating from her superior, sweat pooling in her tightly clenched fist. A sideways glance at Dale revealed her standing with her usual detached expression, completely unfazed by the tension gripping in the room. Unbelievable. That girl really doesn't know fear, does she? Jesus? Ryan's deep, resonant voice called Jesus' name. Her chilling, icy gaze seemed to say, explain or I kill you myself. Jesus swallowed hard, unable to form the next words. How am I supposed to explain this? Either way, I'm dead meat, aren't I? Jesus fell into deep thought, her face pale as a ghost. Where do I even start? Seeing Jesus standing there with her mouth firmly shut, her eyes started anxiously back and forth. Max sighed deeply and raised her right hand. Lich, what the hecky? Not at the clown noises while we're having this intense moment. Clown. I think we need to have clown emotes in chat, guys. Clowns! Thank you, Lich. I'm scared. Who are these people? Congratulations on your membership. I'm just looking. Because I don't recognize them. Hey, seeing Jesus standing there with her mouth firmly shut. Her eyes started darting anxiously back and forth. Max sighed deeply and raised her right hand. Thank you, Lich. Mwah. Mwah. I appreciate it. Captain, may I report? Ryan's unyielding gaze, firmly fixed on Jesus, flicked briefly to Max before returning. Go ahead. You'll be more useful than this scarecrow. With a sharp sigh, Ryan pushed her glasses up to her nose. Ha ha ha. All Jesus could do was scratch her head and let out a foolish laugh. Hyena and Claudia are connected, and behind them the chief of Amit has been covering for them. And now this new cult of Pep. Ryan voiced each name like pieces of a puzzle one by one, trying to fit them together. Yet despite her efforts, the pieces refused to align. With a deep crease forming between her brows, Ryan scanned the members of Team 1. A hyena operative detained by Eclipse has been murdered. What? The unexpected news made Jesus blurt out a shocked response before she could stop herself. The hyena operative held captive by Eclipse? It could only be the woman she and Dali had met right before heading to Hathor. She had undoubtedly been alive when they last saw her. Are you saying someone infiltrated the headquarters? Yes, including facilities. The headquarters experienced a 5-minute blackout. We believe that the intruder acted during the brief window. A blackout? Jesus unconsciously knitted her eyebrows together. That's a very interesting. Now I'm just picturing like knitting needles and eyebrows. Eclipse was supposedly impregnable. I mean, okay. A fortress protected by the world's most advanced security systems. Automatic emergency systems should have kicked in instantly, even during air raids, accidents, or natural disasters. A blackout simply shouldn't be possible. A blackout? That's impossible. The emergency system should have activated. They didn't.
And thanks to that damn blackout, I lost an entire research log. That's the point of having emergency systems if they don't work. Stupid Anubis.
I mean, when they write, I guess. Do we have any leads or suspects yet? None. Not even a single hint pointing to anyone. What? There aren't any real blind spots in the TV network, inside or around the Eclipse compound. What compound? Shouldn't we be able to identify at least a few suspicious individuals? All the CCTV footage has been erased. What kind of nonsense is that? Seeing Ryan's rigid expressions, her silence answers enough. Max continued, moving on to the next question as though following predetermined steps. What about the station's sensory agents? No reports have come in from them yet. Jesus, quietly following their conversation, cautiously opened her mouth. That operative was just a minor hyena underling. Would anyone go as far to infiltrate Eclipse just to silence someone like her? As the words left her mouth, a flash of ominous realization streaked through Jesus' mind like lightning. The only worthwhile information the woman had shared was the link between Claudia and Hyena. Someone desperate to hide Claudia's involvement. Emergency system suspiciously failing to activate. An intruder who leaves no trace whatsoever. This incident. Jesus started to speak, then faltered. Given all the evidence collected, the conclusion seemed inescapable, yet voicing it filled her with dread. It might really be an inside job. Eclipse, secured with the finest defenses known to humanity, had allowed someone to slip through, commit murder right inside the building. Yet we have no clue who did it? Ryan nodded quietly, seeming to agree with Jesus' words. That's the most likely scenario! Unless it was some formless ghost, it's impossible for someone to infiltrate Eclipse without leaving a single trace. Either an internal agent helped them, or the spy handled it herself. It has to be one of those two. Ryan slipped off her glasses and gently rubbed the bridge of her nose, weariness momentarily flickering across her features. If the information you gathered is accurate, then this incident is undoubtedly connected to that cult. Those bastards, they pulled off something far too dramatic just to silence a single low-level pawn. Their goal wasn't to just silence someone. It was a blatant declaration of war against Eclipse. With the quiet exhale, she replaced her glasses, and then her gaze, icy and piercing behind the clear lenses, shifted towards Ricky. Ricky, analyze this sample. As quickly as possible. Ryan handed the bottle of red liquid she had received from Jesus to Ricky.
Always bossing me around.
Ricky snatched the vial of crimson liquid from Ryan's hand, her tangled hair bristling like hackles.
So, what did you get in exchange for helping them?
Why does she sound like that slug lady from Monsters, Inc.? Glancing briefly down at her now empty hand, Ryan immediately pressed forward, leaving Ricky no room to deflect. The lollipop that had been rolling around in Ricky's mouth fell to the floor with a dull thunk.
Nothing. I didn't get anything.
Even the world's most genius being seemed hopeless at lying. Ricky pursed her lips as if to whistle and threw her wavering gaze aimlessly into the air. What a pathetic liar!
Like I said before, they threatened me. I had no choice.
Ricky hurriedly pointed accusing fingers at Jesus and Dali, scrambling to justify herself, but her flimsy excuse was promptly cut down by Ryan's penetrating gaze. You're not the type to just roll over because someone threatens you. You probably flipped it right around and made your own demands. What did you ask for? Dali's blood, perhaps?
Well, how on earth did you figure that out?
Ricky's voice rose, voice rose sharply into a shriek, as if she just encountered a ghost.
It's not exactly hard to guess what you...
Oh wait, shit. It's not exactly hard to guess what you're after. A fine line between genius and folly, they say. Recalling an old Bastet's proverb, Jesus nodded inwardly, seeing it perfectly demonstrated before her eyes. Ricky, who had always had a knack for unsettling others, looked so flustered now that Jesus found the sight oddly refreshing. At the very moment, Ricky cleared her throat a few times and abruptly changed the subject.
So, are you gonna tell Susan about this?
Ryan cast her gaze far into the distance as she'd forgotten the people beside her. Uh-huh. Her reply was completely devoid of emotion. Excuse me, Captain, wouldn't it be better to not share this information with anyone except those directly involved? When a name she'd never heard before was suddenly mentioned, Jesus raised her hand and politely asked Ryan.
Shujin is involved.
The answer didn't come from Ryan, but Ricky, who spoke absentmindedly, already hunched over her microscope. What? Jesus glanced towards Ricky, but the scientist was fully engrossed in whatever she saw through her lenses. The bright red liquid had already been carefully portioned into a petri dish.
Profit.
Sorry.
Profit.
The word slipped unconsciously from Ricky's lips as she stared transfixed at the dish, and it reached Jesus' ears. Why is the prophet suddenly being mentioned? Jesus had no idea why Ricky suddenly brought up the prophet, so she found herself replaying Ricky's words over and over in her mind. Could it be that Shujin is the prophet? Even I got that. Come on, Jesus. I'm not the brightest light bulb in the drawer, or sharpest knife in the drawer, or brightest crayon in the box, but even I figured that out pretty fast. Coming to that conclusion, Jesus turned to look at Ryan. Ryan affirmed Jesus' conclusion in silence. So even the prophet has a wren. Wren? It was perfectly natural for anyone born human to receive a wren name. Yet the prophet had always seemed somehow above such ordinary conventions. The prophet was the supreme leader of solarism, a sole human blessed with the gift to hear the voice of Ra directly, was born as a holy saint, destined to serve as a spokesperson of Ra. Since ancient times, prophets had simply been called the prophet, a timeless tradition preserved meticulously through countless generations. I never imagined the prophet would have a wren. You too. Ryan's low voice yanked Jesus out of her thoughts and thrust her back into reality. I want to thrust into Dale, and we can't all get what we want. You both know exactly what kind of position you're in, don't you? Ryan's sharp gaze pierced straight through Jesus and Dali. Jesus felt a slight rising, unbidden Biden in her chest, but quickly drew her in her breath and braced her core to suppress it. Of course, there's no way she'd just let this slide. Excessive use of force, insubordination to superior orders, unauthorized absence from Eclipse grounds, unauthorized infiltration into Hathor. Even decades behind bars wouldn't be punishment enough. I'm screwed. Feeling as though the ground has completely given way beneath her, Jesus squeezed her eyes shut. At once, her thoughts turned to Dale at her side, who, having deserted her post while under disciplinary action, might face a punishment even harsher than Jesus' own. Captain, this was all my decision. I dragged Dale into this because I wanted to resolve this case. You... Dale's glare, sharp enough to kill, shot towards Jesus. Cut it out. Though Dale growled a low warning through clenched teeth, Jesus ignored her completely, bowing deeply towards Ryan. Dale uncovered the most crucial information in this investigation. Please, I beg you, show her leniency. Watching the two quietly, a sigh of exasperation slipped from Ryan's lips. Your absence was carried out under my orders. What? Jesus' head snapped up in surprise at the unexpected pardon, her face lighting up. This will be my last time I cover for you. I won't bring you before the military tribunal, but this time you will sit quietly in detention and reflect on your actions. Though Ryan's reprimand seemed to end there, her gaze lingered unrelentingly on Dale. Understood. I'm truly sorry. Jesus bowed her head once again. While beside her, Dale stood perfectly motionless, as still as a marble statue. Insert the standing emoji. Imagine in the cold, barred cells of detention, with just a tiny bed and a narrow window, Jesus secretly swallowed down another quiet sigh. Jesus, you will accompany the prophet to the upcoming summit. Yes, ma'am. Jesus answered reflexively, but soon realized something was off. Huh? She tilted her head in confusion. What? Startled as if someone had smacked her in the back of her head, Jesus quickly whipped her gaze towards Ryan. The annual summit, coinciding with the Ra Festival, was a critical meeting attended by the kings of all four kingdoms. Only the four kings, the prophet, and a single designated escort per leader could enter the summit chamber. And traditionally, it had always been Ryan who attended the summit as the prophet's personal escort. Unable to grasp why Ryan was choosing to send her instead for such an important role, Jesus felt anxiety twist in her chest. But despite Jesus' questioning stare, no clear explanation came from Ryan. Instead, there was only a quiet murmur. I will probably be excluded from the prophet's escort this time. Uh-oh, lover spat. With those words... Did you hear that voice crack? That was cringe. With those words, a heavy silence settled over the lab, as if icy water had been poured over them. If an icy water has been poured over you, I would scream. A crisp, almost playful beep echoed clearly as a card tapped against the reader. The laboratory door swung wide open, framing the corridor outside in a neat rectangle like a painted canvas in Jesus' vision. Why is my voice cracking so much? Standing there was... Ooh. Ah. Someone delicious. After confirming the figure standing at the door, everyone in the laboratory, except Ricky and Dale, immediately gasped and straightened their posture, greeting respectfully in unison. Before me stands Her Majesty, the King of Mat, sister blessed by the noble son. At ease, everyone. I'm only here to see Ricky. She's pretty! Having seen that the room... She doesn't look like a king, though. Having seen the room was packed with Eclipse agents, or more precisely, after her eyes fell upon Ryan, Sabrina waved her hand, dismissing her guards to remain outside, then strode into the lab.
How in the world did you get in here? And what's with that card?
Ricky jabbed a finger dramatically at the Eclipse ID card, casually dangling from Sabrina's fingers, her face twisting in disbelief. Sabrina Carpenter! Preserving Ricky's astonished expression, Jesus felt a thread of curiosity emerge from the tangled confusion of her thoughts. Earlier, Ricky had been slightly thrown off balance by Ryan, sure, but right now, her normally loud voice had risen to a pitch Jesus had never heard before. To think she could fluster Dr. Ricky that much. Just what kind of person is the King of Mat? The prophet lent it to me. Said you'd be here.
Damn it, Shujin.
Ricky, a world-renowned scientist and engineer from Mat, and Sabrina, who rose from Minister of Science to the Presidency of Mat, were legends in the scientific world. Together, they pioneered the technology that allowed supernatural abilities to be reproduced by machines, earning them acclaim as transformative figures who forever redefined the nexus between power and society. But thanks to their innovations, even ordinary citizens of Matt could enjoy the blessings of divine— oops. One of their crowning achievements stood right there, here, in the lab, the teleportation gate. Though still limited to a handful of stations and Eclipse facilities, and burdened by numerous restrictions, rumor had it that the ultimate goal was a full public rollout someday. I knew the two of them were colleagues, but I didn't expect them to be this close. With the comedic drama suddenly unfolding in front of her, Heisu maintained perfect— Jesus, I held the thing! She stole a quick glance towards Dale. Though Dale's stance seemed indifferent and casual, she remained properly in place. Heisu quietly exhaled in a word. Aye, Maximum, get on top of these research files now. Don't let her see them. She has a photographic memory. No, not Maximum, you! Swishy swish, lie down! You're no longer. You'll block more of it. I have absolutely zero interest in your silly research, you idiot.
Who are you calling an idiot, you fuck?
And she's sleeping? Riki shrieked frantically as she scrambled in a panic to cover her research materials, while Max and Adora stood motionless as if their feet rooted to the lab floor. Was it Sabrina's presence exerting this strange pressure? Riki was always chaotic in conversations, but today she seemed especially unhinged. Should we give you two some space? They looked unmistakably like old friends, so Heisu glanced at Riki and gently suggested stepping out.
No, don't you dare leave me alone with her!
Riki practically convulsed, shrieking and flailing her limbs wildly, while Sabrina watched with folded arms, her calm gaze fixed on the engineer's meltdown as if it was nothing more than mildly entertaining theater. The collision of their starkly contrasting energies felt as though it might produce steam at any moment. It's fine. I'm just stopping by briefly before my next appointment. I'll be on my way soon, so everyone please continue with your work.
Easy for you to say. How are mere soldiers supposed to concentrate when the king herself has barged in?
At the moment of king, Sabrina cocked her head slightly, and then, as if something dawned on her, she softened her expression and spoke kindly. By tradition, I'm called a king here, but in truth, I'm just a president elected by the people. Please, everyone, don't feel so tense. I just had deja vu. Like I've seen her before, and like she said that before. But I've never seen her before. I know I haven't, because I didn't recognize her at all. And I just had deja vu. Please, everyone, don't feel so tense.
Only that kiddo gets it. Everyone else is clueless, idiot.
Riki and Sabrina, after exchanging the word idiot, once each glared at each other for a brief moment. A crackling tension filled the air, as if sparks might literally fly between them, until Sabrina finally let out a sigh and parted her lips. Why didn't you come to see Grandma on her Memorial Day? Riki furrowed her brow deeply, tilting her head as though someone had just whispered an incomprehensible cipher in her ear. After a long pause, she seemed to process it at last, her expression flattening into difference as she tossed out a blunt reply.
Because Nan isn't there?
As if she had expected that answer, Sabrina released a sigh, then slicked back her gleaming hair under the muted lights before continuing. Visiting the departed on Memorial Days is much for the living as it is for the deceased, you know. In other words, I'm saying do it for your own sake.
Every year, year after year, don't you get sick of it?
By the time Riki's sharp words flew, she'd already drifted over to her desk, dropping some unknown liquid into a beaker with practiced precision. Deja vu. I feel like something good is about to happen, or something awful is about to happen. I feel like I'm doing the right thing if I have deja vu.
What's there but the leftovers of what used to be Nan? What's the point of going to look at that? For my own sake? How is wasting my time staring at a pile of dirt supposed to do anything for me?
She finally tore her eyes away from the beaker where a storm of chemical reactions were brewing and looked straight at Sabrina with eyes as cold and lifeless as stone. Her voice was as monotone as someone reciting a string of equations, and after finishing, she turned her gaze back down, fiddling briskly with something on her desk. You seriously?
Hey, Sue.
Yes, ma'am? Ricky suddenly called the name of the nearest person, Jesus, causing Jesus to jump, blurting out a stunned, bewildered response before she could catch herself. Although Ricky did frequently call Jesus or Dally by name more often than others, being addressed so abruptly and at such a bizarre moment was shocking nonetheless.
What do you think? Should I really have to stand there every year staring at what's left of a burned corpse? Come on, Eclipse Prize Days, what's your logic? Go ahead, answer.
Well, unable to follow the strange and rapid conversational turn, Jesus deflated like a punctured balloon, letting out a weak, baffled mumble, and when she looked around again, she found herself skewered by a pair of cool, clear eyes that watched intently from behind the lenses. No, not just those eyes alone. Every single pair of eyes in the laboratory had turned squarely towards Jesus. Oh no. I think Her Highness has a point. I'm sorry, Her Highness is so beautiful, I can't. But also, who fucking cares? Just live your life. If you don't think you believe in that, don't do it. And if you want to, do it. It is for you. Anyways, what am I to say anything? You're right where you're supposed to be. Yeah, I'd like to think so. Dr. Ricky? Dr. Ricky, what's going wrong? Please calm down. Leave her be. She always loses like this when things don't go her way. Jesus' panicked voice, flustered by Ricky's sudden fit of incoherent ranting, stood in stark contrast to Sabrina's quiet, composed words brushing softly against her ear. Glancing down towards the source of the voice, Jesus realized Sabrina had silently stepped forward, closing the distance between them. Thank you for agreeing with my words. Not at all. I truly felt the same way. It's a relief to see that Ricky is surrounded by so many good people now. The Prophet, Captain Ryan, and you, Agent Jesus. Ah, I am honored. Oh, please, there's no need for such formalities. As I mentioned before, Matt hasn't had a monarchy for quite some time. Anyway, seeing Ricky doing well has eased my mind a little. I'll be counting on you until next year. Are you planning to come back next year to try to convince her again? Yes, of course. Just wait, Agent Jesus. One day you'll witness Ricky visiting her grandmother. Sabrina's eyes, clear and serene as a cloudless sky, betrayed not the faintest doubt in her words. Those eyes, gleaming behind her lenses, were like an autumn sky seen through a flawless glass. And as Jesus gazed into their boundless clarity, an inexplicable conviction stirred within her. If anyone could reach Ricky, it would be Sabrina. Then I'll let this intruder take her leave. Work hard on your research.
Yeah, go and leave. Don't ever come back.
As if her earlier fit had never occurred, Ricky has now pressed close to her microscope, perfectly composed. Only those curt words echoed back from her silhouette. After Ricky's biting remark, woven sharply from threads of cold-hearted indifference, Sabrina turned away without a single word of regret and gracefully walked out of the lab. The door clicked softly shut behind her, echoing quietly through the laboratory. And after the storm had passed, the lab felt even quieter, heavier than it had before. Ah! At that very moment, Ricky's piercing voice shattered a quiet stillness like a hammer striking glass. When Jesus turned to the source, there was Ricky, her face hovering above the microscope, cheeks flushed as if she'd just made the discovery of a century. Dally! Like a delighted puppy springing joyfully back to her, Ricky practically bounded straight towards Dally, so eagerly that Jesus half expected to see invisible ears and tail wagging furiously behind her. Dally, 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 Dally. Ricky rapidly circled around Dally in tight loops, clearly overflowing with wild excitement. Ugh, Max let out a quiet groan, taking an instinctive step backwards as though witnessing something deeply disturbing. Obsession really is an illness, isn't it?
You're going to the guardhouse soon, so I won't see you for a while. Let's draw your blood right now.
In the feverish depths of Ricky's madness-filled gaze, only one figure floated, Dally alone at the center of this obsessive focus, and somehow a syringe brimming with eager anticipation had already appeared in Ricky's right hand. Although Dally's face looked as serene and indifferent as ever, everyone nearby could feel the sharp, chilling aura pricking at their skin. Dr. Ricky, please read the room. Jesus raised a hand to her forehead, sighing at the icy tension settled around them. Well, I think I'm gonna stop for there. Usually I go longer, but I don't want to go too long today because I have plans after this and I don't want to go too late to sleep. because I have been going to sleep at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. And I don't want to go sleep that late. So I think I'm gonna leave that there. Although we didn't find out what the blood had in it. I thought we would find out, but we didn't. Maybe next time. And we need to uncover a lot of the noble secrets, like Megan, the god of death. God of death we still need to figure out. Lots to uncover, so I'm excited for that. However, we will not be playing this game this week. Maybe next week, maybe the week after, because I do want to play more of this game. But I want to get the Silent Hill ending, and I want to get Victoria's good ending. Yeah, it's getting very interesting. I want to see where it goes. So hopefully we get to do that again soon. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you. Thank you for all your support. And hopefully I'll see you guys Wednesday for what I presume is the ending of Silent Hill F, because I think we are coming up to an ending. I can't be 100% sure, but it's feeling like an ending is creeping towards us. So hopefully I'll see you then for Wednesday. I love you. Bye bye. I'll see you Wednesday. Peace.